Hey, everybody, welcome back. This is RE Geeks. We're talking all kinds of crazy tech stuff. And this episode, Michael and I are going to walk down the 5 or 6 or 10 or 100 fatal mistakes that people make when getting going in business. And we're going to talk about tech, we're going to talk about logistics, and we're going to talk about everything coming down the pipe. But until we get into that, Michael, welcome, my friend. How are you?
Morning, Greg. Doing great. I am living the best life. It's supposed to be 70 degrees today, which is about as hot as I like it. I do notice that the threat of tariffs is hitting you pretty hard.
Shut up.
Bookcase behind you is empty.
Shut up.
Greg's doing some remodeling, and I just thought, dude, it's looking a little sparse. And especially when you go back and look at some of the old videos, it's hip. And Greg, I woke up this morning and I have to tell you, based on the Google rumors, I'm wishing right now that I was working in AI for Google.
Tell me why.
They are hiring AI engineers, and this is just a rumor, only to sit around and do nothing because they don't want them working for the competition.
That sounds like a real estate agent.
That is a really, I'm going to hire him at, my brokerage because I don't want him to go fog mirrors at another brokerage.
Heck no. Well, I want to, so I'm really curious about this. You know, we want to talk about fatal mistakes, and let's go over your 5 fatal and my 5 fatal mistakes that people make in business. We'll go tit for tat. Sound fair?
Yeah, we're strictly talking real estate here, though.
Strictly talking real estate. Or just overall just mental mindset in industries, right? So you as a tech expert, what is the first fatal flaw that you see people do that when it comes to mistakes in their industry?
I think that the first fatal mistake that real estate agents make getting into the business is not appreciating or understanding how much money, energy, and time it takes to get into this business.
Money, energy, and time.
This is not a broke person's business. You're going to have to put some time and money into it. And I think, let's just talk the basics. Hey, Greg, it's day one. I've got a listing. Dude, I'm
Sweet.
selling my brother's sister's mother's house. And here we are. Now I'm going to be rolling in the dough. Well, Greg, you know the numbers as well as I do. When am I actually going to get paid?
You get paid when you get a closing.
Okay, so let's talk about so I put the house on the market. Oh, wait, I can't do that. We need to paint. We need to stage. We need to clean. So I'm a week before I can even get it onto the market?
Depends on how good your crew is, but yeah, you could be around that point. Yeah.
Okay. So we're 1 week. Market's slowing down even here in the Bay Area a little bit. So what are we going to say? 3 weeks on the market? Month?
Probably 2 weeks. I mean, you could probably get it in like 2 to 3 weeks. Yeah.
Okay. Typical escrow these days?
14 to 30 days.
Okay, let's talk 30. So now I'm 2 months out before I get paid.
Yep.
So I got to be able to live for 2 months. And we're not even including the fact that I have to pay the stagers. I've got to create flyers. I need to buy real estate signs. I need to buy business cards. If you don't have any money to start, you're not going to make it in this business. And while you're waiting that 2 months, unless you're doing the Greg guerrilla marketing process, you need money for flyers and postcards and all of those things.
But why can't you just do it online? Like, why can't you just put up some Instagram, Facebook posts, some reels on YouTube, with the right hashtags, utilizing like ChatGPT.
Sure.
AIRPM is one of my favorites, is an add-in, and I use one of their add-ins, and it's called the YouTube descriptions.
Yeah.
And you can go in there and create content coming out of your earballs.
You
and you
can.
don't really have to think about it.
Okay. So make sure you have a computer. If you're starting from ground zero, you need to make sure that you are doing some cross promotion advertising. I mean, a lot of this stuff works for you, Greg, because you've got 184 years in the business.
It's getting close to that. I will agree with you on that one.
And I do believe that people can work their ass off, but that comes into the other part of the equation. This takes time and energy. People sometimes think that we're just getting paid for sitting around.
Well, every real estate agent makes $1 trillion a year. We take weeks on our 100-foot yacht, eating caviar and drinking champagne, while fishing off the back and eating brand new salmon and everything else. In reality, we're sitting there stressing the f out,
Yeah.
pulling our hair out, literally hair going gray, eating out of a paper bag that you brought from home. When I was at our old company, I would go over to Trader Joe's every day and I'd get the same thing. And I wouldn't go eat it outside and enjoy the sunshine and have fun. No, my ass was right back in front of my desk doing cold calls, snacking between calls, crushing through 500 to 750 phone calls a day at that point. And people are like, "Oh my God, that is such a sexy job." And I'm like, "Okay, you've been watching too much Bravo. So let's knock that off real quick." Because every real estate agent I know is stressed out, freaked out, and majority of the time broke.
Yeah.
Because it's a competitive industry and people are out there doing things. And I want to step into one of the things that my number one thing is the one of the 5 fatal mistakes that people make in the industry is education. You get a license and then you just stop and you're like, okay, now I'm a licensed realtor.
Hold up a second, Greg. Let's step back for a second.
Okay, walk me back.
When you got your license, you took a couple of classes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe read a book, probably cheated on the test.
I didn't cheat. I'm dyslexic. I can't cheat. I literally had people sitting with me the entire time. I couldn't do that.
I love that at our local, which is Oakland, California, the real estate test site, you have to give your phone for like a 1970s mouse
You do.
so that you can go take the test because they don't want you cheating. Okay, but in the real world, when a real estate agent comes out of the 3 classes they have to take and taking the test, I would tend to suggest that they think they're ready and they have no idea.
Well, they have no idea because they don't know what they're stepping into, and that's the biggest danger. That's why my podcast, Real Estate Uncensored, was so popular while I was running it. Is because what we did is we took the veil away and we said, "Hey, here's education. Here's what you need to know. Here's what other high producers are doing around the country in different industries, different markets. Guys, read a book. Go to audible.com. Download that thing." And get a book and listen to it once a month. I'm dyslexic, so I listen. I don't read. And listen to a book. Doesn't matter what it is. I mean, pick anything. And here's what I truly encourage you guys when it comes to education: educate yourself outside of real estate. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean this: other industries are incredibly successful. And you can take one nugget out of every different vocation, like Walmart. The guy who started Walmart, he got arrested in South America for being on his knees as at that point a millionaire, which now would be a billionaire, measuring the width of the aisles to understand how customers would respond. And I'm like, okay, that's pretty interesting. Another guy in Australia, he had a fudge factory. No jokes involved here, but he had a fudge shop. And shut up, Michael. I see that smile. But what he did is he created fudge families and created storylines behind them. And then people would go and they would, instead of going to like the theater or to the museums or anything else, they'd go see the fudge shop because they had a relationship with that, like that online entity. So my point is here on education, think about how you can take something that's completely non-real estate and turn it into a real estate relatable opportunity, and then run with that. Because as you read more, listen more, and go to meetings and groups and all kinds of stuff. I mean, get to a seminar this year, guys, for fargan sugar snakes. We haven't been to a lot of those in a long time. That is where you get education from people who've been doing it for a long period of time. May have one, you could come out of that event and have one thing that you took away. You put it into your business for the next 12 months. It could make the difference. And that's going to lead into a couple of my other talking points. But Michael, I want to hear your second fatal mistake that people make.
So before I give you that second fatal mistake, I am going to add to what you just said, Greg. And I think for those people that are new to the business, make sure you're going to your office meetings. Make sure that you talk to the other agents in your office and that you learn and suck up like a sponge from every single person you can. You should be attending, those classes. If they're offering training, even if you think you know it, go, because you're going to get one little nugget of information and that's going to break open a dam for you.
Michael, I want to piggyback on that, and then we'll go back to your second point. That is so important, because a fatal mistake, boys and girls, is not knowing your contracts. Go to your contract classes, understand the new contracts, the new disclosures, the new, everything that they're putting out there. Every market's going to be a little bit different. I understand that. That's fine. But get in there and learn. Like Michael said, be a dry sponge, suck everything up, so that then you can be the most knowledgeable person that an individual might want to interact with in regards to buying or selling real estate, because you have the answers. It's not like, well, let me get back to you. No.
Yeah, you want to know everything.
You want to know exactly what you're talking about. I mean, if I went to an accountant and I was like, okay, Michael, since you're my accountant, what's my deductible on this? What's my write-off on that? And you're like, oh, that's a great question. Let me get back to you. No. Horrible life plan. So get the education. Michael, back to you.
All right. So number 2 on my list is don't start your business like I did. Get out of your own way. Realize that people don't care who you are. They don't care what you look like. They don't care inflection of voice, whether you're well-spoken, whether you're dyslexic. They care that you are professional, that you respect, that you listen, and that you are willing to get out there. This is a business that is about work. The phone's not going to ring. Those days where people had to call the realtor, those are gone. Most offices that I build with Support Geeks, we don't even put phones in anymore. You're on your own. Get yourself a cell phone, and that's how you're going to run your business, right? This is your key to everything. Okay. And most of us do that. And this doesn't mean that you need to sit there and doom scroll. Okay. If you're not posting content on Instagram and posting content on TikTok and Facebook, then it's time for you to get off your phone and get out there, go to Starbucks, go to whatever, and start meeting people. You'll be amazed at how many people you can talk to with very little effort.
It's funny you say that. I purposely, when I go to the dog park, which I'm going to do after this recording, is I purposely keep my phone in my pocket or in the car. The reason why is that I want to go out and actually want to talk to other people. Now, if there's nobody there, I bring the phone with me because I was going to be bored. But 90% of the time, I go out there and I have met insanely cool people. And I don't know what their net worth is, but it's not 2 cents. Let's put it that way. And we connect over talking about dog poop, dog food, and everything else dog related. But there's a relationship that is being formed. I actually had these 2 brothers I see all the time down there at the at the park, and one of the guys, he just actually broke his foot, unfortunately. But he looks at me and goes, Greg, what size shoe do you wear? And I'm like, 12 to 13, depending on the brand, style of the shoe, so on and so forth. It's like, I have a pair of boots I'm going to bring you. And I'm like, why do you want to bring me these boots? He's like, well, they're brand new. They're worth like $300 or $400. They don't fit my feet. And I figured that you would like them. Now, that's a silly example, right? But it's an example of the fact that when you get off your phone and you get out and you meet people, like Michael was saying, go to Starbucks, go to Pete's, go to your favorite whatever restaurant or bar or coffee shop or dog park, whatever your flavor is, right? Get out and just talk to people.
Should get out and get a pair of boots.
Hell yeah, get a pair of boots. All right.
That's pretty funny.
So that kind of dovetails on kind of what I'm going to go to next is daily movement. Get, like Michael was saying, get out of your comfort zone. What a lot of people do. So there's 3 different environments that people generally live in. It's either going to be your comfort zone, your stress zone, or your stretch zone. Now, what's the difference? And I'm glad you asked, Michael. I appreciate that. Comfort zone is where you go to die. That's Netflix, chilling, not doing shit, eating popcorn, not leaving the house. That's comfort zone, right? Stress zone is where you're freaking the F out in regards to how do I do this? What do I do? Where do I start? How do I end? Like, who do I talk to? Yada, yada. That's your stress zone. Your stretch zone is a combination of stress and stretch. So now we've become competent at a certain level of procuring business, doing, lead prospecting, talking with clients, closing deals, networking with other agents, but you're always pushing yourself to a different level. And so that's why when I say in daily movement, get out there and move daily about doing something that kind of might freak you out. Here's an example. I had this crazy bat-ass idea about a marketing plan. And everyone I told thought I was nuts. And so what it was, liquor stores, gas stations, mini markets, local stores, stuff like that. If you go in, you look at their counters, they're always chipped up or dinged or kind of banged up around in some way, shape, or form. So I contacted my sign company. I said, guys, is there a material that I could put on a countertop with an advertisement on top? They're like, oh yeah, it's an M3 laminate, blah, blah, blah. And it's built specifically for this. I'm like, holy crap. Okay, cool. And so what I did is I went and I talked to a couple of different gas stations and a couple of different liquor stores. And I said, because when I go in, I'd get like some beer or some water or some, raisins or something like that. And I said, hey guys, I will pay you $100 a month if you let me put this ad right on your countertop. And it scared by the way, they all said yes. And I'm still in relationship with all of them, which is kind of funny. Anyways, I'm not going to get into those stories. But the thing is this, it scared me to actually go out there and do it. But that was me going into motion and doing something that somebody else hasn't done before. And it has paid off in just banners. I mean, it's been fantastic. So, Michael, back to you.
Okay. Number 3. And Greg and I have been in this business a long time.
Long time.
He's talked a little bit about the stress zone. And I'm just going to tell you the third biggest mistake that I see from realtors. It's not every realtor, but it's more than it should be. Keep your financial affairs in order and pay your taxes.
Yes.
Okay. Real estate agents are 1099. We're contractors. When we get a commission, we get 100% of that commission. That means that we are responsible for paying the IRS their due share.
Okay? Even though the IRS can account for multi-billions of dollars. But yes, sure.
Well, we're not worried about that. That's not going to keep you out of IRS hell,
Yeah,
right?
true.
We can't judge them. It's not a two-way street. You owe taxes. Okay. You need to track your expenses. You need to talk to somebody going into the business, whether it be, if you can afford it, go to an accountant. If you can't, go to a successful agent. Make sure you understand what you're doing with your car expenses, your expenses for the business. Get some shirts with your logo on it, some nice shirts that are consistent, and write those babies off. Okay. You can get a whole wardrobe.
Yeah, shirts. I mean, I did the same thing. We had dress shirts, we had polos, we had baseball hats. Like Michael's drinking out of a mug right now, right? One of those nice mugs.
Free
Dude,
from Brigada.
get those and brand them and give them away to people right off. Hello. I mean, what's it gonna hurt, ladies and gentlemen?
Here's a
Luxury.
real estate example.
There you go. There it is.
They're expensive, but
They are, but they
it's
pay
your
off.
message. Nobody's going to throw this away ever.
And if they do, then well, they're not your client.
Yep.
But no, they're not going to throw it away because it's actually really nice to have around the house.
Yeah. And we're not going to give you instructions on how to set up, a bank account for taxes, a bank account for your business, bank account for personal. You got to figure out what works for you. With that said, be prepared, because the IRS will come calling. They will get a little form from your broker that tells how much money you received. And if you've spent it, they don't care.
That's true. They're like, okay, well, so pay your taxes. That's our number. That's our takeaway on this one. Is that correct?
All right. Yep. Number 4.
Hey,
what?
I get to go number 3.
Well, what? Oh, you're still talking?
Shut up.
I thought you were restocking the bookshelf.
Oh my God, I'm going to kill you. I swear to God, I'm going to drive your house. So my number 3 is networking. When I first got in the business, I thought that real estate agents were for the spawn of Satan. And I was like, everybody's out to get me. Nobody's here to help me. Like, this just it's not my shtick, right? I learned after a number of years that networking with other real estate agents, becoming friends with them, literally just enjoying life, being around them, having a cocktail or a cup of tea with them or whatever your style is the most powerful thing you can do. Go out and meet some lenders, invite people over. What I have found in regards to networking that's working extremely well right now is I will do a video or a post, like a story or a reel or something like that, and then I will whenever anybody watches, I respond back to every one of them and say, "Hey, Michael, thanks so much for watching my video, man. How's life? What's new with the girls?" And Michael responds back. The network, an algorithm understands that we're friends. And then the next, part of the conversation when it comes to networking is, "Hey, man, would you ever want to get a cup of coffee? I mean, are you free this week or next week? What's better for you?" And build your calendar up. My father taught me this a long time ago, and I thought he was absolutely banana cakes. But he's like, "Greg, stop doing cold calls." I'm like, "But Dad, that's what I do to get business. What are you talking about? Like, what do you want me to go do?" He's like, "I want you to do calls to our network and invite 3 other people out to a lunch, a breakfast, or like cocktails or whatever, right? And just be a connector. Network with these folks. Get into their lives. Understand about their Hawaii trip, their trip to Asia, South America and Brazil, blah, 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 their deep sea fishing event. Get involved. Ask them. And here's the critical part about networking. It's not about you. It's not about what you can get. It's about what you can do for them. So the critical question is this. Michael, I know you're in software sales. What's your perfect client look like? Who could I connect you with? And then shut up and allow them to talk. You now, my friend, now just have a database of infinite ability to influence other people in your market. So that's mine. Mine is networking. So let's go on to your number 4.
My number 4 we've talked about, and I've got to switch this around from a due to a mistake. And the mistake is don't follow up. Okay.
Ooh, that's a good one.
75% of real estate agents never follow up. Okay. That means
True.
make the call, reach out to your audience. Okay. If you've talked to somebody today, follow up and just say, hey, it was great connecting with you. You know, you hear something happened, call people. I've got a friend that's recently retired, and, you know, I call her about once every 2 weeks. I'm never going to get any business from her. It's okay. I reach out, I form the connection, and I keep it going because I might get a referral. I might get something, but I also get that human connection that is so important in this business. So I'm going to give mine as follow up.
Yeah, follow up is huge. It's one of the biggest things that I'm at fault. I'm not going to be, high and mighty over here. I have failed multiple times at follow up, and I've lost tens of millions of dollars in business because of that. And like Michael was saying, once you wrap your head around the fact that one of your fatal flaws is not following up, because I have an addiction to going out there and hunting for the business. I'm a hunter. The follow up, I throw it back to my team, and I'm like, Eileen, and everybody else, like, hey, put them into this system, that system, get them on this email, that blah blah blah, yakety schmack text message program.
That's not
But
following up, Greg.
that's what I'm saying. It's not following up. They want to hear your voice. They want to see your face. You know, it wouldn't kill you to have you or your team or whoever, make a list of 5 people a day. That's it. 5 people a day. Just pick up the phone, go like, ring, ring. Hey, Michael, it's Greg, brother. Hey, man, you were just on my mind, man. How's life? What's new? That's as hard as it is. You're not asking for business or begging for business. You're just going like, hey, how's the wife? How are the girls? What's new in life for you? Blah blah blah. And then just say, hey, wish you all the best. If I can help you, great. If not, I'll give you a holler in the next month or so, and then move forward. 5 people a day. It's all it takes.
Yep.
You will be if you become Tom Cruise famous to 10 to 50 people in your area, 50 people. Tom Cruise famous. That means you helped them out with business, you helped them out with family, you did something for their property, you connected them for, in their industry to another person that could help build them, but they will remember you. You get 50 people that you're top of mind. Shoot. Like I have a client of mine right now. You'll get a kick out of this, Michael. I can't tell you who she's dating because she would kill me. Is a very influential individual who everybody knows the name of, and we all use this individual's product. But she works directly for Elon Musk on Starlink. And so, like, she and Elon are connecting all the time, right? And I fired her, and she fired me years ago as a real estate and a real estate agent as a client. And I openly call her to her face, hashtag worst client ever. Well, she's referred, I think, 10 plus people to me in the past. And she hit me up the other day, and she and I got to reconnect and have a good time and talking and so on and so forth. Point of the story is this. She wants to buy like a $3.5, $4 million home. And she's like, and she told Elon this, which I was like, what? You told Elon what? She's like, I told Elon that, I'm going to buy a house, and he's like, do you need a realtor? And she's like, no, I got my boy, Greg McDaniel. He's my only go-to. And it's because we stayed in contact. And I can't even believe Elon knows my name, but
saying I was immediately thinking, does she have an agent? She need help? I got this, Greg. I got this. All right.
What?
Number 5 for me. Oh, we got to go to your 4.
Yeah, my 4. So
We
content
got to keep
is
listening to you.
my 4th is content. People fail to make content. And I'm not saying you have to have a full production. You have an iPhone or an Android or anything like that, guys, this is a full-blown media studio right in your hand. Use CapCut if you want to have some creative, like different platforms you want to play with. It's free, by the way, but create content. Now, what does content really mean? Think about your life in your day as like a book. And when I say that, people are like, what the heck are you talking about? And the thing is that every book has what they call chapters. Your life has chapters. Listening to this podcast and YouTube video, this is a chapter in your day. So then you're going to go do X, Y, and Z. You're going to pick up the kids. You're going to make dinner. You're going to work in the yard. You're going to go meet with clients. You're going to go get gas. All chapters, right? Document 2 personal, 2 professional stories a day. Create the content. You don't have to do long form at 60 seconds or less. Create content, because if you don't, I'll tell you one thing, that 19-year-old or 21-year-old that just got into the business, who just got out of college, they're going to create so much content, it's going to blow your freaking mind off.
Yeah.
And you're going to be left in the freaking dust. Michael, what say you on this?
I think you're spot on. I think you got to remember that most of this content is evergreen. It's going to last for a very long time.
But
And
what does evergreen mean, Michael?
evergreen, think of evergreen trees, right? They attract and live for a very long period of time.
So basically, don't talk about today's interest rates. Talk about the marketplace as a whole over the last 5 years, kind of a thing, right?
100%. And I think what people need to realize is that this content, it doesn't have to cost you a fortune. Greg and I are winging this YouTube thing, and we have different opinions. We both use Shure microphones because we think they're, some of the best. But it's not about spending a lot of money. Most of us have a notebook that has a camera built into it. If you don't, you can go get a Logitech camera microphone for $50.
Yep.
You don't need to spend a lot of money. You just need to get out there. You got to put yourself out there. And I laugh all the time because I'm the last guy that wants to be doing what we're doing today and building content.
He really is, actually.
I'd rather be on the floor with the dog right now, just, laying there and trying not to get out there. I don't like getting out there, but you know what? Once you start doing it, you become more comfortable, and it becomes something that you do as part of your life. And I think, Greg, as we move through that, my number 5 is that a fatal mistake real estate agents don't make, and small business owners, is they don't regiment their life around a calendar.
Oh my God, you're so right.
And I think that, I can't live without my calendar.
Me neither.
And I use a product out there called Use Motion to aggregate calendars together for multiple businesses. And I do this because I literally can't live without. I don't know what to do next. Right? And you've got to calendar everything you do. Content creation. It's like Greg and I do this, and we calendar a meeting on Monday. We calendar a meeting before we do this web content. And sometimes it's just, a conversation, but sometimes it's true planning. I also calendar in other things that I have to do. Greg gave me a task a couple of weeks ago, and I've been working on building up some content, and it's super freaking hard for me. And I don't know if you remember the task, Greg, because I think you said it kind of offhand.
I don't remember, actually.
I am creating 1-minute tech tips of the day.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And Greg said, do this. And oh my God, guys, it's hard. A minute is like forever and then about a week longer. So when you're up there and you're talking, it's okay to be 30 seconds.
Yes.
It is okay to be 15 seconds, but you have to be consistent and you've got to put some time and energy into it. I obviously, I comb my hair before this. Greg, not so much. It's underneath the cap. Yeah.
No,
See?
not so much.
But that's okay because he can wear a baseball cap. I got a big head. But I think that people that get into this business, I hate people saying I'm late. When I set an appointment in my calendar, I include travel time so nobody else can book an appointment around that. And we're in the Bay Area. Some of my appointments are an hour away. If I did not put that time in there, I could get really stacked up. Create a calendar, get used to it, use Outlook, sync it with your phone, use Google, use whatever you use and be consistent. Greg, obviously you love this one. What else? What else you think?
Well, no, I love that, to the fact that my team manager one day looked at my calendar, because I synced her with my Google Calendar so she could see and put stuff on my calendar and I can see what she's doing. And I walk into the office back at our old brokerage and she gives me, Eileen, she
Oh,
gave
yeah.
me this deadpan look and she's like, "Your calendar makes me sick." And I'm like, What? What are you talking about?" I'm like, "It's all color coded." She's like, "You are crazy on how you have delegated out your days." And I'm like, "How am I supposed to not do that?" I
Yeah.
mean, I live and die by that damn thing. Every morning I get up and I check my calendar, I check my weather app. I know what temperature it is, so I know what to dress for. And then I go out there and I know what my next task is. I know my timeline. And that is one of the biggest things that if you do not live by your calendar, you will die in this business. I guarantee you on that. Because when I was training at our old brokerage, and Michael, I think I've told you the story multiple times. And a new agent came in, and this individual was like, "Oh my God, I want to get some more business." And I said, "Okay, great. What are you doing for prospecting? What are you doing? Like, what's your day look like?" "Well, I watch YouTube videos." And I was like,
Does she calendar them?
she just watches YouTube videos. And I'm like, "Okay, what else?" She's like, "No, I just watch YouTube videos all day long." I'm like, "So, okay." And that's an example of somebody not putting their calendar to use. But that's going to take us to my fifth, because Michael, you did your fifth, right?
Yep, that was my 5.
Okay. So mine is, I'm going to go actually back to something you said earlier, is cross pollination. That kind of resonated with me quite a bit, because your neighbors, your friends, your family members, your local businesses, each and every one of them is fighting a battle you don't know about. So maybe someone's fighting an eating disorder. Maybe somebody's fighting they're getting a divorce. Maybe they're having a kid and they're stressing the heck out. Whatever it is, right? They're fighting some uphill battle. So cross pollinate, get out there, connect. I mean, if you're going to be a secret agent, when I say secret agent, that means nobody knows who the heck you are. You're going to have a very short life in this industry. I'm going to be straight up with you. I was in another business and I was selling stuff to real estate agents. And I had this guy who wanted to buy our product. And I'm like, "Okay, great. We'll get you set up on this, that, or another thing. What's your best email?" "I don't want to give my email out." "Okay. What's your best phone number?" "Oh, I don't want people to call me." Okay. What are you on Facebook?" "I don't want to give that out." At that point, I just threw my hands up and I was like, "Bro, do you want help or you just want to die on the vine?" Because I was so done with him.
Yeah.
He's like, I want help. And then I'm like, "Then shut up and give me the information so I can help you." The point is this: when you become a valuable asset to other people in other industries that have friends that buy and sell real estate, you never know who they know. You know what, guys? That cross pollination and giving without asking for anything in return, it might not pay off immediately, but I'll tell you one thing, it will pay off in the long run if you consistently give without requiring anything in return. And that is cross pollination.
Yeah.
Um, it is something that is, and it's also, by the way, it's a lot of fun. It's because you get to learn about somebody. And what I've done at open houses lately, Michael, which I think I've told you about this. I don't just go to an open house and stand there. When somebody comes into my open house, I say, welcome in. I do my intro. I'm Greg. I'm the realtor. Here's a flyer, yada, yada. Walk around to give me your thoughts. And once they get done walking around, I do a very simple move. I say, you know what? Come sit with me. Let's talk. Every single time when I say, come sit with me, and I'm like, you know what? You guys want a bottle of water or sparkling water? What would you like? Oh, I'll take sparkling. Okay, great. Let's take a seat on the couch. Let's talk. It's uniquely interesting. Like the Persian culture is renowned for this. I mean, it's always like, come sit down. Here's some food. Asians are the same. Bring a gift, so on and so forth. But I never understood the power of it because once you get and sit with somebody, and you're comfortable and you're talking, it's not formal and weird and salesy. Um, People open up, and that's where the cross pollination comes in. It's like, oh, so you guys are looking here in Los Altos, California, is that correct? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, what industry are you in? Where'd you come from? How'd you guys come over here? What's attractive about this neighborhood? Sip sip water, and then you become a friend and an asset. And that's how you cross pollinate. Because, like, Michael, you own car washes. Okay. Michael, so you own like 4 or 5 car washes? Yeah, I do. What's your best client that you would look at? Like, what's your primary market that you're going after? I'm going after Kashmush. Can I help do some promotion for you? Can I shoot a video for you guys at no cost and push it out to my social media and my client base and maybe get some more clients for you? Well, yeah, that'd be great. Like I
Right.
contacted a big restaurateur here in Danville. You know Rodney, don't you, Michael? Peasant and the
Yeah.
Pear.
Yes.
So I talked to his
I know.
manager at Peasant and the Pear yesterday, and I said, "Hey, can I shoot a video for you guys?" He's like, "I don't know, man." I'm like, "Get a hold of Rodney. Tell him it's Greg McDaniel, and I want to shoot a video for you guys." And he hit me back like 2 minutes later. He's like, "Rodney said, hell yes." But that's the part of cross promotion and just enjoying your local businesses and helping everybody thrive, not just survive.
Yeah. All right. Well, speaking of living by the calendar,
Mm,
and now we've
we got to
been talking
bounce.
about Rodney, and if you're in the Danville area, make sure you hit up the Peasant and the Pear. Is that still there? I'm assuming.
Yeah, it's there. They got a new location. I'm actually gonna go film there today, actually, as soon as I
Oh,
get done
that's
here.
right. They took over. Great food. Highly recommend it. Great staff. Everything about it. Uh, Super excited. I am off to my next meeting. Greg, what are you doing after this?
Gonna go filming, take the dogs out. I'm gonna go preview a couple of properties and then come back and do more cold calls as
All right.
natural and then create more video content as
Beautiful.
always.
That's what I love to hear. Guys, thank you very much. It was a wonderful 45 minutes, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
All right, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, peace out, ninjas. We're gone.
Peace.